All right, welcome. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Microsoft Azure to answer a really critical question. With so many tools out there, how do you actually get your data into the cloud? You know, it can feel pretty overwhelming, but don't you worry. In the next few minutes, we are going to completely demystify Azure's data ingestion services. We're going to give you a clear map to find the perfect tool for your job. So, let's get right into it.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the absolute basics. What is data ingestion anyway? Then we'll jump into the big categories of tools. You've got your batch processing powerhouses, your real-time streamers, and of course, the specialized connectors. And then we'll wrap it all up with the super simple framework to help you make the right choice.
And you know, this really gets to the heart of the problem, right? Data just sitting there in a database or on some server, well, it's just potential. Its real value is only unlocked when you can move it, process it, and analyze it. But that very first step, that moving part, that's everything.
Okay, so to make sure we're all on the same page, let's build a solid foundation. Let's define what we actually mean by data ingestion.
At its core, data ingestion is really just about moving data from point A to point B. And the analogy on the slide? It's perfect. Imagine a massive warehouse. Before you can organize or use anything inside, you first have to get all the goods off the trucks and onto the loading dock. That's data ingestion. It's the essential, critical entry point for all your information.
First up, let's talk about the heavy lifters. This is for when you're not just moving one little package at a time, but entire cargo shipments. Batch processing is all about moving huge volumes of data on a set schedule, like once a day or maybe every hour.
For this kind of heavy lifting, Azure basically hands us three main options. They all specialize in what's known as ETL or ELT, which is just a fancy way of saying they extract, transform, and load your data. They're also perfect for hybrid ingestion, which means you can pull data from your own on-premise servers and the cloud at the same time. These are your absolute workhorses.
So the big question, how do you choose between the top two here? Well, the key difference is all about scope. Think of Azure Data Factory as your general-purpose data conductor. It can orchestrate these really complex workflows across tons of different services, both inside and outside of Azure. Synapse Pipelines, on the other hand, is the specialist. It lives inside the Azure Synapse Analytics workspace, and it gives you this seamless, unified experience when your entire project is within that one ecosystem.
And this third one? This is a very special case. It's basically your bridge to the cloud. See, if your company has been using SQL Server for years, you probably have tons of these SSIS packages doing all your data work. SSIS on Azure Data Factory lets you just lift and shift those existing workflows straight to the cloud without having to rebuild everything from scratch. It's a game changer for modernization.
Okay, let's totally shift gears now. We're moving from those scheduled cargo ships to a continuous conveyor belt. What if your data doesn't come in nice, neat packages once a day? What if it's a constant, never-ending stream of information? Well, that's where real-time ingestion comes in.
And for this real-time wave, Azure provides a whole different suite of specialized tools. I mean, we're talking about everything from website clickstreams and social media feeds, all the way to data from millions of IoT sensors or application logs. Each one of the tools you see here has a very, very specific job.
So let's focus on the two biggest players first. You've got Azure Event Hubs, which is like the massive, general-purpose front door for any kind of data stream you can imagine. It's like a giant buffer that can handle millions of events per second. Then you have IoT Hub. This one is way more specialized. It's built specifically for the Internet of Things, and it provides not just ingestion, but also device management and secure two-way communication. That means you can send commands back to the device, not just receive data from it.
The other tools on this list are just as powerful, but each one is designed for a very specific real-time job. First, there's Azure Stream Analytics. This is incredible because it lets you run queries on your data while it's still in motion. It's like finding patterns as they're happening. Then you've got Databricks Autoloader, which acts like a smart sensor for your data lake, automatically and efficiently processing new files the second they land. And finally, Azure Data Explorer, or ADX. This thing is an absolute beast for ingesting and querying huge volumes of log data with lightning-fast speed, perfect for app diagnostics.
Okay, our final category is for the connectors and the automators. These aren't typically for moving terabytes of data around. Instead, they're for intelligently connecting different systems together, usually triggered by specific events.
And the star of the show is Azure Logic Apps. Think of it as your digital glue. Its superpower is its absolutely massive library of connectors. So you need to automatically grab an attachment from a new email, get its data, and then stick it in a database, or maybe trigger a whole process whenever a new file appears in Dropbox. That is a job for logic apps. It's all about workflow automation, not bulk data movement. Okay, phew, we have covered a lot of ground. We've seen the cargo ships, the conveyor belts, and the smart glue. So now the most important part. How do you actually apply all this and choose the right tool for your project? Let's build a super simple framework.
All you have to do is ask yourself these 3 simple questions. First, batch or stream? Are you moving your entire sales database every night? That's batch. You're looking at a tool like Data Factory. Are you processing live sensor data every millisecond? That's a stream. You need something like Event Hubs. Second, code or low code. Do you want a visual drag and drop experience? Data Factory or Logic apps are for you. Does your team live and breathe code? Then something like Databricks might be a much better fit. And third, legacy or modern. If you're building a brand new platform from scratch with really tight integration, Synapse is an amazing choice. But if you're just trying to move your existing SSIS packages to the cloud, well, the choice is already made for you.
So here's the crucial takeaway, the most important point of all of this. There is no single best ingestion tool in Azure. The best tool is the one that perfectly fits your specific data's shape, its velocity, and your workflow. I mean, the slide says it all, right? Using a massive tool like Data Factory to process one tiny event is like using a cargo ship to deliver a single pizza. Yeah, you can probably do it, but it is wildly inefficient. The absolute key is to match the tool to the job.
Ultimately, every single data project is different. The sources are different, the goals are different, and the journey that your data needs to take is completely unique. So the final question really is for you. Now that you're armed with this map, which path are you going to build to unlock all the value hidden inside your data?